Imagine a big map of America and find Montana way up north. That's where our story begins. Picture a train chugging along, carrying a lady named Agnes. Agnes wasn't a young girl anymore. She was 42 years old, with kind eyes and hair the color of autumn leaves. She was traveling all alone, with a suitcase full of dresses and a heart full of hope. Agnes was a mail-order bride. That meant she'd written letters to a man she'd never met, a farmer looking for a wife. His name was Jebediah. Agnes dreamed of a cozy home, a warm fire, and someone to share her life with. She imagined baking cookies, tending a garden, and maybe even having children. But Montana wasn't like the pictures in her mind. It was wild and vast, with mountains that touched the sky. The wind howled, and the towns were small and dusty. Agnes was about to find out that finding love wouldn't be as easy as writing a letter. Her 35-minute journey was just beginning, a tale of unexpected turns and the promise of something truly special amidst the rugged terrain. Agnes's hope shimmered like the heat rising off the Montana plains, but it was mixed with a certain naivete. She imagined Jebediah would be waiting with a bouquet of wildflowers, not realizing that wildflowers were a luxury few farmers had time for. She pictured a cozy cottage, not the drafty farmhouse that awaited her. Back home, Agnes had been a baker, famous for her apple pies and cinnamon rolls. She dreamed of filling Jebediah's house with the sweet smell of baking. She also yearned for a family, a little girl to braid hair and a little boy to teach to fish. These were the pictures she held close, the dreams that kept her going through the long train ride. Little did she know, the reality of life in Montana was far different from the stories she'd read in magazines. The work was hard, the days were long, and the people were often suspicious of outsiders. Agnes was about to learn that her hopeful heart would be tested in ways she never imagined. The gold in her dreams might need to be mined from hard rock, and her gentle spirit would need to find strength in a land that demanded it. The train finally screeched to a halt in the dusty town of Harmony Gulch. Agnes stepped off, clutching her worn suitcase. The wind whipped around her, carrying the scent of sagebrush and something else, disappointment. Jebediah was there, all right, but there were no wildflowers, no warm smile. He was a tall, thin man with a face etched with worry lines. He wore a plain brown suit that looked too small for him, and his eyes were as gray as the Montana sky on a stormy day. "Agnes?" he asked, his voice raspy. "Yes, Jebediah," she replied, trying to keep the hope from fading in her voice. He nodded curtly, grabbed her suitcase, and led her to a beat-up wagon pulled by a tired-looking horse. As they rode through the town, Agnes noticed the stares. The townsfolk stood on porches, their faces a mixture of curiosity and suspicion. A few women whispered behind their hands, their eyes darting over Agnes's simple dress and her slightly worn shoes. The journey to her new life was proving to be a bumpy one, and the warmth she had hoped for seemed a long way off. This wasn't the welcome she'd dreamed of. The ride to Jebediah's farm was silent except for the creaking of the wagon wheels. Agnes tried to make conversation, asking about the crops and the weather, but Jebediah only answered in short, clipped sentences. He seemed uncomfortable, almost as if he regretted sending for her. When they finally arrived, the farmhouse was even more run down than Agnes had imagined. The paint was peeling, the porch sagged, and the yard was overgrown with weeds. Jebediah showed her to a small, sparsely furnished room. "This is yours," he said, without looking at her. "Supper's at 6. That evening, supper was a silent affair. Jebediah ate quickly, his eyes fixed on his plate. Agnes tried to engage him again, but he remained distant and unresponsive. She felt a growing sense of unease. This wasn't the beginning she had hoped for. This wasn't a partnership. It felt more like a business arrangement. The warmth she craved seemed impossible to find in this cold, awkward atmosphere. She began to wonder if she had made a terrible mistake. The reality of her situation was sinking in, heavy and disheartening. The wedding day dawned bleak and gray, mirroring Agnes's mood. She wore her best dress, a simple blue cotton gown, but it felt heavy and ill-fitting. As she walked down the aisle of the small wooden church, She could feel the eyes of the townsfolk on her. A hush fell over the room, but it wasn't a respectful silence. Whispers rippled through the pews, followed by snickers. Agnes could hear fragments of the cruel remarks. Too old, plain as dirt. What's he thinking? Her face burned with shame. When the preacher asked if anyone objected to the marriage, a woman in the back stood up and shouted, "She's robbing him of a chance at happiness. He deserves a young, pretty wife, not some old maid." The church erupted in laughter. Tears welled up in Agnes's eyes. She couldn't bear it anymore. She turned and ran, her heart shattering with every step. The laughter followed her, echoing in her ears as she fled the church and the town that had so cruelly rejected her. Her dreams lay in tatters at her feet. Agnes stumbled through the dusty streets, tears blurring her vision. She sank onto a wooden bench outside the general store, her body racked with sobs. Had she been so foolish to believe in fairy tales? Was she destined to be alone forever? The laughter from the church still echoed in her mind, each cruel word a fresh wound. She clutched her hands together, wondering what to do. Should she go back to Jebediah's farm? Face the town again? The thought was unbearable. Maybe she should just get back on the train and go home, back to her quiet life baking pies. But even that seemed impossible now. She had sold everything she owned to come to Montana. She had no money, no home, no future. A wave of despair washed over her. She questioned everything. Was she too old to find love? Was she not pretty enough? Had she made the biggest mistake of her life by becoming a mail-order bride? The hope that had once burned so brightly had been extinguished, leaving her cold and lost in a world that seemed determined to reject her. She felt utterly, completely hopeless. Just then, a figure emerged from the shadows of the general store. It was Caleb, a wealthy cowboy known throughout the county for his sprawling ranch and his even bigger heart. He had witnessed the entire scene at the church, his jaw tight with anger at the townsfolk's cruelty. Caleb wasn't like the other men in Harmony Gulch. He had traveled the world, seen different cultures, and learned to value people for who they were on the inside, not what they looked like on the outside. He'd inherited his wealth but earned his respect through fair dealings and genuine kindness. He'd noticed Agnes the moment she stepped off the train. There was a quiet strength in her eyes, a gentle spirit that shone through despite her plain appearance. He saw her hope and he saw it crushed. As he watched her run from the church, something stirred within him. He felt an immediate connection to her pain, a desire to protect her from the world's harshness. He knew he had to do something. He couldn't just stand by and watch her despair. He was drawn to her spirit, and he knew in that moment that his life was about to change. Caleb approached Agnes cautiously, his boots crunching on the dusty ground. He knelt beside her on the bench, his presence radiating warmth and sincerity. "Ma'am," he said softly, his voice a low rumble, "are you all right?" Agnes looked up, her eyes red and swollen. She shook her head, unable to speak. Caleb offered her a clean handkerchief. "Those folks, they don't know what they're talking about," he said gently. "They're just small-minded." He then shared a bit of his own story. Despite his wealth and success, he confessed that he had always felt a deep loneliness. He longed for genuine connection, for someone to share his life with, someone who saw beyond his money and valued him for who he was. He understood, perhaps more than anyone in that town, what it felt like to be judged and misunderstood. "I know it might not mean much coming from a stranger," Caleb continued, "but I see something special in you, Agnes, something those other folks are too blind to see." He hoped his words offered some comfort, some small spark of hope in her darkest hour. He truly believed they could both find what they were looking for. After a long moment of silence, Caleb took a deep breath and looked directly into Agnes's tear-filled eyes. "Agnes," he said, his voice firm but gentle, "I know this might sound crazy, especially after what you just went through, but would you consider marrying me?" Agnes stared at him, her mouth agape. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. "Marry you?" she stammered. "But you don't even know me. I know that you're kind, that you're strong, and that you deserve better than what just happened, Caleb replied, his gaze unwavering. I may not know all the details of your life, but I see your heart, Agnes, and I believe we could make each other happy. He continued, I'm not asking for a grand romance, at least not right away. I'm asking for a partnership, a chance to build something real together. I have a ranch, a good home, and a life that's missing someone to share it with. And after seeing what you just endured, I can't stand the thought of you being alone. He paused, then added, What do you say, Agnes? Will you marry me today? His unconventional proposal hung in the air, a lifeline thrown to a woman drowning in despair. Agnes's mind reeled. Caleb's offer was incredibly generous, but after the humiliation she had just endured, it was hard to believe it was real. Could she really trust this handsome, wealthy cowboy? Was he just feeling sorry for her? Or was there something more to his proposal? Doubt gnawed at her. She had come to Montana seeking love, but all she had found was rejection and cruelty. Now, a complete stranger was offering her marriage, a life she could only dream of. It seemed too good to be true. Caleb, she said hesitantly, I don't know what to say.
I'm flattered, truly.
But I barely know you. And after what happened at the church, I'm not sure I can trust anyone right now. The pain of the laughter, the sting of the insults, were still fresh in her mind. She needed time to think, to process everything that had happened. She needed to be sure that Caleb's intentions were genuine, that he wasn't just offering her a temporary escape from her misery. The thought of being hurt again was almost unbearable. Trust was a fragile thing, especially after it had been so brutally broken. Caleb understood Agnes's hesitation. He knew he had to reassure her, to show her that his offer came from a place of genuine respect and admiration. He gently took her hand, his touch warm and comforting. Agnes, he said, his voice filled with sincerity. I'm not blind. I see that you're not a young girl, and I know you might not fit the town's idea of beauty. But those things don't matter to me. He paused, letting his words sink in. What I value most is what's inside a person. Kindness, honesty, a good heart. Those are the things that truly matter. And I see those qualities in you, Agnes. I saw the way you held your head high even when those people were being cruel. I saw the sadness in your eyes, but I also saw a spark of strength that refused to be extinguished. He continued, I'm not offering you a fairy tale, Agnes. I'm offering you a real life, a partnership based on mutual respect and genuine affection. I believe we could build something beautiful together, something that lasts. And I promise you, I would never do anything to hurt you. He hoped his words would begin to heal the wounds inflicted by the townsfolk's cruelty and help her believe in the possibility of a different kind of happiness. Agnes listened to Caleb's words, her heart slowly beginning to thaw. His sincerity was undeniable, his gaze filled with genuine kindness. She saw no pity in his eyes, only respect and a longing for connection that mirrored her own. The pain from the church still lingered, but Caleb's words were like a balm, soothing her wounded spirit. She realized that she had two choices. She could let the bitterness consume her, or she could take a leap of faith and embrace the possibility of a different kind of happiness. After a long, thoughtful pause, Agnes looked up at Caleb, her eyes shining with a newfound resolve. Caleb, she said softly, I don't know if this is the right decision, but I believe you, and I'm willing to try. A small smile played on her lips. Yes, she said, her voice gaining strength. I will marry you. She knew it was a risk, a huge one, but something deep inside her told her that this was a chance worth taking. Maybe, just maybe, she could find the love and happiness she had always dreamed of, not in the way she had imagined, but in a way that was even more real and meaningful. She cautiously opened her heart to the unexpected possibility. Caleb, determined to make this wedding a completely different experience for Agnes, quickly set about arranging a simple but heartfelt ceremony. He knew they couldn't face the judgmental eyes of the town again. He decided to hold the wedding on his ranch, in a secluded meadow surrounded by wildflowers, the very wildflowers Agnes had dreamed of. He gathered his closest friends and ranch hands. People he trusted and knew would offer Agnes a genuine welcome. There were no fancy decorations, no elaborate gowns, just the beauty of nature and the warmth of true friendship. One of the ranch hands, a grizzled old man named Hank, offered to officiate. He wasn't a preacher, but he was a good man with a kind heart, and that was all that mattered. He spoke of love, respect, and the importance of standing by each other through thick and thin. As Agnes walked down the makeshift aisle, escorted by Caleb's best friend, she felt a sense of peace she hadn't felt in a long time. The faces she saw were filled with warmth and acceptance. This wasn't the wedding she had planned, but it was perfect in its simplicity and sincerity. It was a fresh start, a chance to build a life based on love and respect, far away from the cruelty of Harmony Gulch. As Hank began the ceremony, he spoke not of traditional expectations or promises of obedience, but of the importance of mutual respect, unwavering companionship, and a loving partnership built on honesty and trust. Caleb and Agnes had written their own vows, promising to support each other through life's challenges, to cherish each other's strengths, and to forgive each other's weaknesses. Caleb vowed to always see the beauty within Agnes, to appreciate her kindness and gentle spirit, and to provide her with a safe and loving home. He promised to be her partner, her friend, and her confidant, always. Agnes, in turn, vowed to bring warmth and joy to Caleb's life, to share her talents and passions, and to stand by his side through thick and thin. She promised to create a home filled with laughter and love, a haven from the harsh realities of the world. Their vows were simple and heartfelt, reflecting their shared desire for a genuine connection, a partnership based on mutual respect and understanding. They weren't promises of a fairy tale romance, but rather commitments to building a real, lasting love, one brick at a time, together. This was a marriage built on choice and respect, a beautiful testament to their unconventional beginning. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the meadow, Caleb took Agnes in his arms for their first dance. A fiddle player among the ranch hands struck up a slow, gentle tune. Agnes, initially hesitant, leaned into Caleb, her body relaxing against his strong frame. They swayed to the music, their eyes locked in a silent conversation. It was a moment of quiet intimacy, a chance to truly connect beyond the whirlwind of the day's events. Agnes felt safe and secure in Caleb's arms, a feeling she hadn't experienced in a long time. As they danced, she realized that this wasn't just a marriage of convenience. There was a genuine spark between them, a connection that went deeper than mere gratitude or loneliness. She felt a flicker of hope that maybe, just maybe, this unconventional beginning could blossom into something truly special. Caleb held her close, his hand gently resting on her back. He felt a surge of protectiveness towards her, a desire to cherish and care for her. He knew they had a long road ahead of them, but in that moment, as they danced beneath the setting sun, he felt confident that they could face anything together. Their first dance was a promise of a future built on love, respect, and unwavering support. It solidified their bond, transforming a leap of faith into a tangible reality. Back in Harmony Gulch, the news of Caleb and Agnes's wedding spread like wildfire. The townsfolk buzzed with gossip, their opinions as varied as the colors of the Montana landscape. Some remained critical, whispering that Caleb had lost his mind, marrying a woman who was past her prime and not even pretty. They predicted the marriage would never last, fueled by their own narrow-minded views. Others, however, began to see a different side to the story. They noticed the genuine happiness in Caleb's eyes, the way he seemed lighter and more content than they'd seen him in years. They observed Agnes's quiet grace and her growing confidence. A few brave souls even ventured out to Caleb's ranch, offering Agnes a tentative welcome. They brought small gifts, homemade pies and knitted blankets, gestures of acceptance that warmed Agnes's heart. The change wasn't immediate or universal, but a seed of understanding had been planted. Even Jebediah, watching from afar, felt a pang of regret. He realized he had been too focused on his own troubles to see the kind heart that Agnes possessed. The unlikely union of the rich cowboy and the mail-order bride had stirred something in the town. forcing them to confront their own prejudices and consider the possibility that love could be found in the most unexpected places. The shift in perception, however small, offered a glimmer of hope for Agnes and Caleb's future in Harmony Gulch. Life on Caleb's ranch was a far cry from the quiet baking life Agnes had known. It was hard work, long days, and new challenges at every turn. But with each task she tackled, Agnes discovered hidden strengths and talents she never knew she possessed. She learned to ride a horse, her initial fear replaced by a growing sense of freedom and exhilaration as she galloped across the open plains. She helped with the cattle, her gentle touch surprisingly effective in calming the nervous animals. She even learned to mend fences, her nimble fingers proving adept at the intricate work. Agnes also brought her baking skills to the ranch, filling the kitchen with the sweet aroma of pies and bread. The ranch hands, initially skeptical, quickly became devoted fans of her cooking, their gruff exteriors softening with each bite of her delicious treats. But more than anything, Agnes discovered a talent for nurturing. She tended to the ranch's small garden, coaxing life from the dry soil and creating a vibrant oasis of flowers and vegetables. She cared for injured animals, nursing them back to health with her gentle touch and unwavering patience. Agnes found a sense of purpose and belonging she had never experienced before. She was no longer just a mail-order bride. She was a vital part of the ranch, a woman of strength, talent, and unwavering kindness. Her new life was challenging, but it was also deeply rewarding, revealing a resilience she never knew she possessed. Agnes's presence began to transform Caleb's ranch, not just in practical ways, but in the atmosphere she created. Her kindness and warmth radiated outwards, touching the lives of everyone around her. The ranch hands, a rough and tumble bunch, found themselves softening under her gentle influence. They started taking more pride in their appearance, cleaning up their bunkhouse and even planting a few flowers outside their door, inspired by Agnes's garden. They began helping her with chores, not out of obligation, but out of genuine affection. They even started sharing stories about their lives, something they had never done before. But perhaps the most significant transformation was in Caleb himself. He had always been a good man, but life had hardened him, leaving him reserved and distant. Agnes's unwavering kindness and her unwavering belief in him began to chip away at his hardened exterior. He found himself laughing more, spending more time in the house, and sharing his thoughts and feelings with Agnes. He began to appreciate the simple things in life, like the beauty of a sunset or the taste of Agnes's homemade bread. He realized that Agnes had brought something into his life that he had been missing for a long time: love, laughter, and a sense of belonging. Her presence was a balm to his soul, softening the edges of his heart and reminding him of the joy that life could offer. Their bond was tested and strengthened as Agnes and Caleb faced the unpredictable challenges of ranch life together. One particularly difficult cattle drive saw them battling scorching heat, dwindling supplies, and a stampede that threatened to scatter the herd. Agnes, despite her initial fear, proved to be a steady and reliable partner, using her calm demeanor to soothe the frightened animals and her quick thinking to help avert disaster. Another time, a sudden and violent storm swept through the ranch, tearing apart fences and flooding the barn. Agnes and Caleb worked side by side through the night, rescuing animals, securing buildings, and comforting the frightened ranch hands. They were exhausted and soaked to the bone, but their shared experience forged an even deeper connection between them. These challenges revealed their individual strengths and their ability to rely on each other in times of crisis. Agnes learned that Caleb was more than just a kind-hearted cowboy. He was a strong and capable leader, willing to do whatever it took to protect his ranch and his people. Caleb, in turn, saw Agnes's unwavering courage and her unwavering determination, realizing that she was a woman of remarkable strength and resilience. The shared hardships served as a crucible, forging their bond and transforming their partnership into a deep and abiding love. Each challenge faced together built another layer of trust and appreciation. As time went on, Agnes truly found her place within the ranch community. She formed close friendships with the wives of the ranch hands, sharing stories, recipes, and laughter. They admired her resilience, her kindness, and her unwavering spirit. She became a confidant to many, offering a listening ear and a gentle word of advice. The ranch hands, initially wary of her, came to respect her work ethic, her compassion, and her ability to make the ranch feel like a home. They sought her out for help with everything from mending clothes to tending to sick animals. Agnes organized social gatherings, bringing the community together for potlucks, dances, and celebrations. She taught the children how to bake, how to garden, and how to appreciate the simple things in life. She became a mother figure to many, offering guidance and support. Agnes wasn't just Caleb's wife. She was a vital part of the ranch, a woman who had earned the respect and affection of everyone around her. She had found a sense of belonging and purpose she had never known before, a community that valued her for who she was on the inside, not what she looked like on the outside. The ranch had become her home, and the people there had become her family. She had finally found the love and acceptance she had been searching for, not in the way she had imagined, but in a way that was even more profound and meaningful. The transformation within the ranch community didn't go unnoticed in Harmony Gulch. Slowly, some of the townsfolk began to realize the error of their ways. They saw the positive impact Agnes had on the ranch, the joy she brought to Caleb's life, and the sense of community she fostered. One day, a small group of women, including the woman who had shouted objections at Agnes's first wedding, approached Caleb's ranch. They were nervous and hesitant, but they carried with them a basket of homemade goods and a sincere apology. They confessed that they had been blinded by prejudice and narrow-mindedness, judging Agnes based on her age and appearance rather than her character. They admitted that they had been wrong and that they were deeply sorry for the pain they had caused her. Agnes, initially wary, listened to their heartfelt apology with grace and understanding. She recognized the courage it took for them to admit their mistakes and offered them her forgiveness. A reconciliation of sorts began, a small but significant step towards healing the wounds of the past. The townsfolk realized that true beauty lies within, and Agnes, with her kindness and compassion, had shown them the error of their ways. It was a testament to Agnes's forgiving nature and the power of genuine connection to bridge even the deepest divides. Agnes and Caleb's story became a legend in Harmony Gulch and beyond. They proved that love can be found in the most unexpected places, even after heartbreak and humiliation. They showed that true beauty lies not in outward appearances, but in the kindness of one's heart and the strength of one's spirit. Their marriage was a testament to the power of second chances, the importance of looking beyond superficial judgments, and the transformative effect of genuine connection. They demonstrated that love isn't about age or beauty. It's about finding someone who sees you for who you truly are and values you for it. Agnes, once an outsider, became the heart of the ranch community, a symbol of hope and resilience. Caleb, once hardened by life, rediscovered the joy of laughter and the warmth of companionship. Together, they created a haven of love and acceptance, a place where everyone was welcome and valued. Their story served as a reminder that love isn't always found in the places we expect it, and that sometimes the greatest treasures are hidden beneath the surface. They proved that with an open heart and a willingness to take a leap of faith, anything is possible, even finding true love in the most unlikely of circumstances. Their love was a beacon, shining brightly against the backdrop of the harsh Montana landscape, illuminating the path towards understanding, acceptance, and unwavering love. Years passed, and Agnes and Caleb's love continued to grow stronger with each passing day. They faced life's challenges hand in hand, their unwavering support for each other a constant source of strength. The ranch flourished under their care, becoming a symbol of prosperity and community. The final scene shows Agnes and Caleb sitting on the porch of their ranch house, watching the sunset paint the sky in vibrant colors. They are surrounded by children, some their own, some the children of the ranch hands, all laughing and playing together. Agnes is holding a baby in her arms, her face radiant with happiness. Whether the baby is their own, a symbol of a late-in-life miracle, or a grandchild, representing the continuation of their legacy through the ranch community, is left to the imagination. What matters is the picture of love, acceptance, and family that they have created. Their story is a triumph over prejudice, a testament to the power of kindness and a celebration of the unexpected joys that life can offer. They had proven that love knows no age, no boundaries, and no limitations. Their happiness shone brightly, a beacon of hope for all those who dared to believe in the possibility of a second chance, a reminder that true love can conquer all, even the harshest of beginnings. Their lives, once marked by despair and rejection, were now overflowing with love, laughter, and the promise of a bright future, forever etched in the heart of the Montana landscape.